Another week, and we made it. We made it. Like, let's check for ourselves for showing up all through this week. Um, yeah, I'm so happy that I was able to complete one working week of streams, and I'm so happy that you, my audience, have kept me company through it all. I don't have to stress about it. I don't have to stress about it. Good. I don't have to stress about it, and you guys were a you guys were a lovely spot. So going into the weekend, I'm still going to keep streaming on Sunday and Saturday, like this tomorrow and next tomorrow. Yes. My aim is to get a flow, with my people that show up for me, daily. I don't want them to feel, I don't want to abandon this, you get. I don't want to abandon this thing I'm doing. I like it. So I'm just waiting for a few people to join the stream. And today we're going to be doing fun things today. Today I'm going to be preparing to go out. You know, I'm going to do some skincare, get ready with me, makeup, stuff like that. I'm going to do all of that here with you guys. And I'll be showing off my art. My art. Yesterday I was talking about some rudimentary attempt I made at creating art with crayons, and I did that last year. Okay. And I was just, free, just expressing myself, and I just felt like I could show my art, you get. And hearing you guys feedback would be nice. To be nice. Then I want to also make when more people come on the stream, I want to give like this, like in my description I said I'm addressing some stuff, so I have to give some announcement, like not announcement but kind of setting the etiquette for our streams, which is on my part, you get, because this is all new to me, like interacting with people actually online, and getting this sort of rapport going. It feels very new to me, and I feel very most of the time I'm actually seriously nervous. Okay. And because I'm so nervous, I talk a lot, and talking a lot, sometimes I get lost in the idea that I forget that there are people that might want to chime in and want to share their ideas of what I say. But because I'm so nervous, I used to just speed rail over them, yes. And I want to change that. I want to remind myself by changing that. So um I have this viewer that is very steady, very stable, very present, that shows up for my streams, and he's very kind to do that, to take time out of the day and show up for me. And there was a stream I did on Thursday, Wednesday, and I was very nervous on that stream, and I was trying to maintain my emotions. So I was just talking like a crane, yes. I just kept on talking, and I didn't give space for my audience to interact with me. So I feel like that is something he wanted to share with me the following stream, but I didn't get it, and I misinterpreted it, as something else, you know, instead of also waiting again for him to express himself or what he wanted to say. So I want to now make this rule mostly for myself. Do you understand? And I've written it on my board here. So I'm going to put it up. As more people join the stream, I'll be periodically showing what I want us to establish here while, like, well, on stream, which is that, let's say the first thing first. Allow my viewers speak. That's the first thing. Allow my viewers speak. The next thing, breathe between thoughts. So I don't have to spit out every single thought that is in my brain come out oriented there. And then it's okay to listen to, like, sometimes I feel so, like, my depth, like I cannot properly keep the stream going, like racing through every single thought in my head. Now that people are connecting with my streams, I think I can relax and just, like, it's good to remind, it's okay to listen to my viewers, okay, to wait for them to organize their thought and share it with me. You get this, it's okay for there to be silence on the stream. So basically this is my rule, mostly for myself, yeah. allow my viewers speak, express themselves, breathe between thoughts, and lastly, it's okay to listen too. Like, don't be scared of the silence, basically. Um, I always want to create like a safe space. I like conversations, so I want to create a safe space for my people, my audience, to feel like, you know, they're not just being talked at. Like, you can actually share your opinion. So um I'm just going to test it out now and be like, hello, um how are you today? How was your night? What are you doing today? What's your schedule for today going to be like? And I'll just leave it for a few minutes for you guys to feel comfortable to talk to me as you would want to talk to me. um so what will I be doing now? So I want to arrange my art. How I'm going to show you. I stapled it together last year. So this is this is my art. And this art, it came on the heels of um me finishing this book I read, Beloved. And Beloved is written by sorry, Beloved was written by one of my favorite authors in the entire world, Toni Morrison. And then I was like so touched by the storytelling. I was so touched by Beloved because Beloved is a character, and I love how the story, when it says there's a woman here, you see this woman as a fully fledged human being, imperfect, flawed and all, but also very deep and full of emotions. And also, most of the time when I read books, I'm inspired by certain characters. So in Beloved, my favorite character was Denver. And Denver was described as having this issue where she could not step out of her house because of the trauma she experienced as a child. you know when she was first socialized, like as a child, she was sent to this classroom of children and she was being taught by one woman. And in the classroom, one of her classmates asked her a question about what her mother did in the past. And because of that, she just felt like she could. Hello, Favor. Hi. Thank you for joining my stream. I hope your Friday is wonderful. And I'm talking about my art and what inspired this art I'm about to show you right now. So, and my name is King too. My name is King. Hi, Favor. I'm talking about my art, but before that, I just wanted to know that on the stream we're going to do skincare. I'm preparing to go out later in the day, so I want to do skincare and like try on my makeup style for, if you like it, you get it will be nice. But I want to do that because it's Friday. Let's have fun here. Also, before that though, I want to talk about my like very casual stuff. Like my art and what inspires my art. I hope you can hear me. Makeup. So anyway, yeah, that's what I've been talking about so far. Also, I made up these rules. I don't know if you were there. I made these rules just for you to be free to speak during the stream. It basically goes, you can speak, you can share your thoughts with me, you can chat me up, you can, tell me anything you want to talk about on stream. So anyways, and I'll listen to you, I'll pay attention to you, I'll respond, you get, as best as I can. So I was talking about this character, Denver. Yeah. So Denver is the daughter of the main character, the second child, or second birth, like second set of children she had. When a woman has children, like for like first set of children, then she's another spot in life, and then she gives birth. Denver is like the last born, basically. So Denver had this issue where she was traumatized by her classmates knowing her mother's secret. No, it was not really a secret, it was like an open secret, but it was something that was not really addressed. So her classmate confronted her, not confronted, but like just said, oh, your mother did this. And because of that, she felt this weight immediately and she was like, okay, I'm not stepping out of the house anymore. And she started staying indoors. She was scared to leave the house. She never left her mother's compound. But the way the story progresses, Denver grows. You understand? Denver gets to the point where she has to actually confront her mental issues, which is the fear of outside and the fear of people and the fear of the big world ahead of her. You get? And she had to confront it and step out actually to save her mother's life. She knew that if she did not step out, her mother would die. That's how bad it was. And she stepped out. And that thing just gave me so much, like it made me feel like I was flying, because Denmar's situation is kind of similar to my situation, in the sense like it's not like there's any secrets of my parents or something. It's just I had this thing where there's this fear of going outside. So it used to be intense as a child, like very, very bad. It was crippling, it was hard for me. Anyways, so when I read Denver coming into that powerful mood where she stepped out, where her illness no longer stopped her from being, when I read that, I felt it was as if I just realized, wait, I can actually overcome this thing that is troubling me. Like, people overcome it, yes, and it's not something that is so what do you say, what will you call it, it's not something that is impossible. It's not something that turns you into something evil. It's not, how to say it now, it's not impossible to overcome the cage that you put in yourself, upon yourself, you get. And most of the time people say things like go to therapy, get help, go to hospital, like get therapy. And it's like, therapy is not really accessible for everybody. So I was thinking like maybe I'm stuck like this forever. But to see a character like Denver by herself, you know and propelled by her own emotions, you get, conquer whatever it was that caged her, you know, that made her feel like the world was too scary to confront, that made her feel like she could not face the world. She overcame all of that by herself, by her own ponderings. Because who was going to help this type of little girl in segregation America, you get? So because of that, I felt very inspired, and it just released something on the inside of me, especially because that period I was also dealing with my own issues. You get, it just released something on the inside of me, and I was like, you know what, let's try something, let's make art. So I felt inspired to make this art that I'm going to show you now. It's not traditional in any sense, and I feel like it doesn't make sense to anybody. It wouldn't make sense to anybody but me, but either way, it was important I put something down, you get, in art. And I have these crayons that I got a while back, and I just put it down. This happened last year. Okay, so I want to go through my art as people join the stream. Okay, should we wait until like 20 minutes for people to join the stream? So I did it on A4 papers because that's all I had, you know. And I was like, regardless, I'm going to do it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to make sense to anybody but me. That's fine. So I'm kind of stalling. I'm stalling. Maybe I should wait for more people to join, or I should wait for the 20 minute mark to start. I have to make it that I'll be able to play music while on stream, because I really love listening to music. And going hours and hours not listening to music while doing something that requires a level of concentration is it's kind of tough. So anyway, let me just show you the first one. So this is the first piece that I created, and I titled all of the pieces Denver, yes. But this one felt intentional to me, and it would not make sense, obviously, in a very it would not make sense to anybody else, I guess. But I just want to say like what I was feeling when I was putting these strokes down. um After completing Beloved, or after reading that, no, after completing Beloved, I made this art. um when I put my crayon, it was, my crayon is very blunt, it's old and it's worn out, but this shade of brown I used, when I put it down on paper, it just felt like I was um touching, you know, making marks on the wall, and felt like I was making marks on the wall of my mind. And it felt like, maybe, to me, like, not maybe, because I know what I was feeling in this moment. I was feeling like as if I was stumbling through something. There is no start or end to this piece. It's just me in this chaotic world I exist in, you know? And I maybe I should have titled the stream "Showing Off My Art." So this piece is me just trying to. Well, it felt like in this moment when I was putting down these strokes on paper, it felt like I was chipping away at the the obliviousness of what was my situation at the time, and it felt like I was chipping away at it, like it was working. I was crumbling it, I was bringing it all down to the ground. Okay, but first I had to wake up, open my eyes to see where I was. And like this painting shows, it shows, not even, it's not a painting, it's crayon work, so whatever, but it feels like me in the chaos of my mind or my mental state, and me chipping away at stuff, those things that have stressed me for the longest time, and I was chipping away at it, and I was, making noise on it. I wasn't going to let it swallow me. I was kind of moving. It feels like movement, actually. It's like a movement piece. I'm just moving. There's no meaning to my movement, there's no rhyme to my movement. I'm just moving so that I can remind myself that I am here. Okay, I am not defined. Like, I felt like this was a statement that I'm not defined by the issues that plague me sometimes. Yes, so I'm not defined by them, and I can actually recognize myself. So me recognizing myself, like I was pushing all these things to the ground, you get, and that's what this chipping, this paint represents. It's just like chaotic, it doesn't make sense, it's messy, and the color is a bit ugly to me, you get. And it's like, yes, it's a very drab, dull word to be stuck in your own head, to be stuck in your own issues. It's like a very dull word, anybody would live in there. So we go to the next piece. Maybe I should have titled it um Showing Off My Art. So the next painting, I want to preface it and say that the painting, when I now got the mindset to put words down to explain what I was talking about, um, it was after I was done painting these 4 pages or 5 pages of art. So the next one I want to show is this one. So again, there is this whole chaos of strokes, of the crayon that I made. Just chaotic. The color scheme is very um it feels very antagonistic, it feels very angry. Like the color stroke, the color choices, it feels very intense, it feels very odd, it does not make any sense. That is the whole point. And this part, like in the story of Denver, yeah, they lived in a very big compound with a lot of grass, and Denver used to have this moment where she would go to her corner. She had one private grassy corner where she would go to hide, and then she would be free to think her own thoughts, because even when she was at home in her house with her mom, she could not think her own thoughts. Okay, so I made up this art was kind of representative of those leaves bending towards her, like the breeze bending the leaves towards her, the grass towards her, she hiding in her space. Like this is like her space. It makes no sense, you get, but it's there and it is like muddy, it is dark, it is drab, kind of ugly, you know, very ugly. That's the point of this whole thing, just ugliness. Yes, and the ugliness of being in a mind that does not want you to be free. Okay, and it's like, I'm not my mind. At the end of the day, I'm still a person. I have a mind, but my mind does not call the shots. And that's the awesomeness of reading about them, by realizing that your mind doesn't have to control you. So this is the piece. And then the next one, this one. This is the next one. This one is all purple strokes of my crayon. Like, I use a purple crayon for this to show a kind of color entering her world now. Like color, you know, but still the chaos is still there. The madness is still there. The confusion, because when Denver eventually overcame her issues, she still had, she still struggled. She, like, the way we learn about stuff like this in movies or in media is as if, oh, once you overcome stage fright, then you start to rap, like you start to speak so freely, and it's as if everything has disappeared. But that's not true. It's a process. Healing is a process. So even when you take the first step to, you know, overcome whatever it is that is stressing you, that is, you know, has you trapped, there's still the process where you have to now start learning how to function as a normal human being, you know, with people that don't have the issues that you had, you get. So this is just kind of the struggle of, you know, reconnecting with society after being isolated, after being locked away, you get. So this is what I made, feeling the struggle that Denver was going through, you know, and relating to it as well. This is my art. And one thing I made peace with is that it doesn't have to make sense, you know. It doesn't have to make sense. It doesn't have to be coherent. It doesn't have to be logical. There's no, what do you call this, chronology to it. You get, there's no beginning, there's no end. It just is. And I think that is how healing works. Okay, you don't just, there's no, oh, I'm starting my healing journey and it starts from here. Hello Raji, hi. Okay, Raji, since you joined the stream, I think let me just take a break from my art. I think I figured out what you're trying to say yesterday. um Yesterday when you were saying you wanted to express and you felt you couldn't express it again, I think I misinterpreted it as maybe, um maybe you had an issue with what I was doing in general in the stream. But later when I rewatched it, like you said I should rewatch. I rewatched and I realized that I was not even like allowing myself to breathe between the things I was saying. I'm fine, I'm fine. How are you? How are you? I did not allow myself to breathe between what I was saying that day, and I did not give anybody a chance to speak because I was just caught up in my own feelings and what I wanted to say. So I wrote this thing on my board today because of you to remind myself. See what I wrote? I did this thing. What is it? First of all, yeah, allow my viewers speak. That's the first thing. Second of all, breathe between thoughts. So if I have a thought, I have to wait for people that are watching it to understand what I'm saying and then to share their opinion. Do you get? Then when I hear from them, we can now move forward. You get? And then the last one, it's okay to listen as well. You get. So those are the things. Like I came to that conclusion. Like I realized it yesterday evening, and I was like, oh, okay, I get what you're trying to say. So on this stream, also I want to encourage you that it doesn't matter. Maybe I might be caught up again another time, but it doesn't matter how caught up I am. If you just take your time to just say what you want to say and share it with me, I will come back. In fact, I need those kind of pointers so I can come back and calm down and like hear from another person. After all, I'm not just talking into the void. I'm expecting to relate with people, to hear other people's perspectives and all of that. So for that, just allow me, because this is like I'm a newbie. So let's just say I'm learning work. Okay. So how are you? How was your night? How was your day? Or how is your day going? I hope this account. Okay, so that means your phone is charged or something. So I already started showing my art. I said I was going to show my art yesterday. So I started showing my art, the thing I painted last year, after reading a certain book called Beloved. And Beloved was written by Toni Morrison. Toni Morrison is my favorite author in the entire world. I don't have favorite books, but I have favorite authors. And anything those authors put out, I will read it, I will eat it up non-stop. So Toni Morrison is my bestest. She's my number one. So she wrote this book. She wrote Beloved. I read it last year, and it touched me so bad because it was very relatable, and it kind of made me get a perspective into my own life. I was able to um, face some issues that I have run away from for the longest time and realize that I could overcome them. Okay, but in the process of that, after reading Beloved, I was like, okay, I feel certain feelings and I cannot put them into words, but I may be able to paint through those feelings, and that's what this collection is. Yes. So I titled it Denver. Denver is the name of my favorite character in that book. Oh, yeah. Thankful for that. Um, so Denver is my favorite character in the book. I hope you're okay. So you're saying I thank God for His mercy. I hope things are okay. Denver is my favorite character in Beloved, and she's actually the youngest. I think she's the last born of the main. The character, the story is centered around Seti. So Seti is her mother. Seti is the main character of the story. But like in Toni Morrison's book, there are no main characters. There's only the story, and there are people whose lives tell the story. Oh, that's good to hear. I'm happy to hear that, Raju. There are people whose lives tell the story that Toni Morrison wants to say. So there's nobody that can be, the star. The way people write stories these days, that they're like, oh, they are the star. This is the main character. There's no separation like that, because Denver's life was so full and rich that for me, she was the main character. She was the one that had my attention, and she inspired me. So anyways, this piece is actually just me walking through the things I was inspired from, reading her life. It's just colors, and I made it with crayon. There's no meaning to it. No, there's meaning to it, but there's no sense, there's no logic, there's no coherence. This is the third piece. I've already showed off the earlier pieces. So, and I titled all of them Denver. So by the time I got to the final pieces, I was inspired to write some things that I'm going to read out. Yes, so that I wanted to write it to make sense of what I was feeling in the moment I was painting. So I'll always remember what I felt in the moment I was painting it. So I think this is the last one. Let's go to the second to the last one. So in this one, you can see that I used a very bright color, yellow, like the sun just came out. The strokes are still chaotic, it's still messy, there's no logic, there's no reason to it, but it is the sun, it is bright, there is light now. There is no longer the darkness of this first one that I did, which is this brown one. Denver. This is the first one I did, and it was just a mess basically. Yes, it's just the color is ugly. Like the feeling I had when I was writing it was so painful. When I was doing this, it was so painful, and it just brought me to tears. It was just horrible because it was just like coming to the awareness that, hey, I've let this thing go on for too long. I can set myself free. So when we get to the almost final work, you see that it is bright, it's different. Now you don't focus too much on the strokes as much as the color of what is on the page, which is just yellow brightness, like not happiness, but more like now you're no longer in the dark. Now there's the sunlight of healing, there's the sunlight of awareness, of knowing your own power. Okay, and then I wrote, let's face the dragon. This time, either we kill it or be killed by it. Either ways, we are not going to be suspended in this horror anymore. Because that's what it does. Like all those things that you think of in your mind that stress you out, that make you feel like you don't have, like you're not capable of living the life you want. All of those things are lies. But sometimes the lies feel so real to us. They are so tied to our identity, and we believe the lies, and we start to make stories that, oh, maybe I can never be free of this lie. So when I read Denver's story, I realized that that whole thing is a lie as well. I can be free. I can set myself free. Okay, and so this painting exists. So the other one I wrote to the final piece, the final is this one in red. This one is messy. I wrote the same thing. I didn't write the same thing, but it's kind of like the same thing that I wrote in the other one, and it's red because it's scary. Deciding to step out of something you've known all your life is way scarier, even if it means that you get better. Yet it's scarier than knowing how limited you were by your problems, by the issues in your mind. If I know that, okay, I always have this issue, when I now say, okay, I don't want to have this issue anymore, it's not like, what if something happens, you get, what if something happens and it throws me off and I can't handle it anymore. So this is the piece, Denver. And in this piece I wrote, I'm going to kill my dragon and I'm going to walk out. I'm going to slay this monster and I'm going to set myself free. So what I wrote about Denver was, Denver literally tackled her dragon to the floor, knocked it out and came out on top. Denver's is a telling of hope to me personally. She didn't even have any such thing. She didn't even have hope. She simply made do with the prison, it had boxed her into. I guess in that I am lucky. I have seen someone get out, walk out more like, and put the demons to rest permanently. So I don't know if that made sense, or all of this makes sense to me, and I've kept them so precious since last year. I kept them in a file so that they wouldn't like be affected by wear and tear of coloring and all that. So this is my piece, and maybe one day when I learn how to paint properly, I'll be able to expand on it and bring something much palatable to it. People. There's also this thing I did, but I don't have any words to explain it. It's just it's just me and walking through my emotions. So that's the art collection I wanted to show. So like the title of let me not go too fast. Let me wait for people to join, or for any thoughts, any feelings about um what you just seen. Oh, you do? What kind of medium do you use to paint? Why? I think painting is fun. What medium do you use to paint? Is it pencil sketches, or ballpoint sketches, or do you use watercolors? Oh, you're creative. Oh, that's very very cool. That's kind of, it feels like it's kind of obvious because you show interest in like poetry, yeah, the poetry that I read and the stories that I read on here. You show interest, you get. So I feel like someone that is interested in something artistic, he definitely has a level of creativity that they exist with, that they live with, you know. So what other ways are you creative in if you don't have so much interest in painting anymore? Or is it that you used to have an interest in it and it's reduced, or um like you don't feel the need to pursue it further? You get, maybe that's your own thing. What other sort of interest, like how else do you express yourself creatively in your life? Personally, for me, I'm surrounded by creative people. Like I have two siblings that are very artistic people. Most of the things I see on social media, okay, yeah, I feel like fakeness now, in this our day and age, is kind of subjective. You know, some people are some people are just doing their jobs. Some people are just doing their jobs, and they're just doing a job. And like, there's nobody that is working in an office that will tell you, I'm here because I love my oga, or I'm here because I genuinely want to be. Most people just want to make money, you know. And the situation of the world is so intense right now that most people cannot even begin to. They don't have the luxury, to think of themselves. But then again, aside of that aspect of economic issues, there's also a certain type of fakeness that comes from, I think, emotional mental issues, where people never really learned how to. Sorry, let me check if I have. People never really learned how to. You, do I have to end this life now? Oh, um, I have to make a call now. I have to make a call now. Let me just, so as to not interrupt us anymore. So I'm going to end the live and call this person, and then I'll come back. Please don't go anywhere. Okay? That's how live works. I'm coming. Okay, okay, okay. Thank you.